I understand the politics of this issue. I do not understand the policy of this issue. I hardly profess to be an expert in macroeconomics, but it seems to me pretty elementary that if you want to help Main Street, and I appreciate the deindustrialization of America and how profoundly that has hurt Main Street in America. It suggests to me that the way to do that is with an industrial policy. It is not to do it by imposing tariffs. I fail to understand how it is by taxing the importation of goods. And by the way, I completely appreciate your point about national security and about why it is it's really important in a very select number of industries to protect those industries because of how vital they are and how supply chain disruptions could end up harming American national security. But what I don't understand is, let's say, how are we bringing back the great glory days of the 1950s when America still was the leading car manufacturer simply by imposing tariffs? Isn't the way to compete internationally by investing in infrastructure, by investing in education, by making our workers the best and the brightest in all of the world and incentivizing businesses to locate here rather than tariffs? Isn't that the best way?
Great question. Batya and then Steve. Thank you for that, Matthew.
Great question, and also thank you for your kind words. Donald Trump is not a leftist. He is a protectionist. And so I think this is the thing with the Elizabeth Warren. Like, there's only one way, if you are not a leftist, there's only one way to get businesses to behave in a certain way. I guess there's two ways. There's the carrot and then there's the stick. And I think in Donald Trump's mind, tariffs are kind of a little bit of both. They create a massive incentive because it's going to become more expensive if you don't do it. If you don't start reshoring, there's going to be costs associated with that. And then, of course, he promised to bring down the corporate tax to 15% for anybody who brings manufacturing back here. And I'll just note, it's already working. I mean, he's already attracted $1.2 trillion in manufacturing committed since his inauguration. So it's already sort of working and doing that promised thing. Yeah, industrial policy is great. I'm a leftist, so I love that stuff. Sure, let's like throw money at the problem. But he's a Republican. And so they're thinking, what can we do that to use the market itself in order to make businesses behave in the ways that we want them to? Is there a way that we cannot use the force of the government, but rather an incentive structure to get out of this codependent relationship with China, which has been just like disastrous? And this is the thing about it. We all agree on what the problem is, right? But there's just no other compelling solutions that I have heard. I mean, the Democrats kind of gave up on this. And so, I think for him, the tariffs do a whole bunch of things at once. They make it expensive not to manufacture here. So we have the reshoring piece, the national security piece. I mean, if you think about it, China is our greatest adversary. And we literally rely on them to build the ships we would need in order to fight them if, God forbid, it ever came to that. It's crazy. They exported, maybe by accident, maybe not, a bio weapon, basically. And we relied on them for the pharmaceuticals and the vaccines to fight it. It's insane, but no one's talking about it. You have to make it so that these companies, through their own free will, have enough incentive, carrot or stick, to stop behaving in the way that their shareholders want them to because it makes the biggest profit. That's kind of, I think, the argument behind the tariffs.
Mark, can I ask
I
Steve a
think you're making
question?
to the leftist argument about the
So,
that's
Steve,
not Donald Trump
I,
saying.
I remember
Huh.
Dick Gephardt back in the day. I mean, I remember when he ran for president. I followed his career closely. Did he evolve in his opinion about tariffs? Because so much of today with regard to China reminds me of the period when he was prominent in politics, when we had this very issue with Japan.
I think he has had a consistent position for a long time, which was we should try and negotiate fair and free trade deals with other countries. They should be negotiated in such a way that they have protection for labor, that they have protection for the environment, that we are raising the standard of living for all the world, not bringing the standard of living down in our country. And that's what I wish Donald Trump was doing that on a consistent basis across a whole bunch of countries. I happen to think it should be done in consultation with Congress, as we did with NAFTA and USMCA, which Donald Trump negotiated. But I don't think we should have unfettered free trade. We should just have a rational system of negotiated deals with other countries.